Welcome back to day 3 of easy makeup that you can do with your own makeup bag. And today I'm going to do a really simple smoky eye from scratch, kind of like an evening makeup, but for when you haven't got loads of time, because I haven't got loads of time. I'm actually having my neighbours over today. Basically, we've all lived near each other for almost a year, and we always have a chat on the drive and they seem really nice, but we've never had like a proper social thing together. So I've invited them to my house, and to be honest, I am always like, I'm very in my comfies kind of a person, so I'm always just in like pyjama bottoms and a hoodie, or like my leggings and a hoodie, that kind of thing whenever I see them. I don't think they've ever actually seen me A, in normal clothes, or B, with any makeup on. So I want to like feel a bit dressed up for them because I'm having them over, and I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, they seem really nice. So often when I make these videos, I go on for longer because I'm trying to explain things to you, but actually I kind of want to show you today that, so we're already 1 minute in, I want to show you that it can be done really quickly if you just wanted to have a little zhuzh before you were going somewhere. And whenever I put a question sticker up to say what kind of thing would you want to see, speed comes up so often. And to be honest, if I'm not filming, I get ready so quickly. Like, I am very much someone that will put a handful of things on and leave the house really quickly. But I never show you that because I'm always like talking through and wanting to make sure it's detailed. So I'm going to try and keep to my regular pace today while I'm showing you some things. Now, what I'm going to do today is use some cream shadows and give you some tips on how to get the best out of creams if you were doing a smoky eye. And by all means, through this kind of video series, I can show you lots of different formats of eyeshadow so that whatever you've already got, you can apply the tips to your makeup bag. Because what I'm hoping to achieve with these videos is not to encourage you to get loads more stuff. I want you to think, right, I've got a cream I could do that with, or I've got that shape of brush that I could try this week and I've not tried it that way. So because we're going for creams today, I'm going to do all of my base first because nothing's going to spill or drop down. I'm so used to doing one half and then the other half from whenever I do an It Cosmetics video. That's what I like to do, so you can see how the CC cream has worked. And because I want to be nice and quick today, I'll list everything I've used in the caption of the video, but I won't go into loads of detail about each product. But basically, I've used a CeraVe moisturiser and eye cream, and my original It Cosmetics CC cream, which is the full coverage one that looks nice and creamy in the shade Fairlight. I go between Fairlight and light medium, depending on how many tanning drops I've used. Now, probably got half of that on my lips than anywhere else. Something else I'm going to do is, I always have a tissue while I'm doing my makeup, and anything I haven't used, I wipe away. I'm quite good now at knowing how much of things I want to use, but that is something I always do. And I'll give my brush a little wipe between steps because more often than not, I use a domed brush of some description to do all of my complexion things. And the next one is going to be my Peaches bronzer. Just for ease, I really like it. I also think that, for example, because I've done my CC cream now, having a little bit of it on before I do my bronzer and blusher helps to marry everything together. And it's just less washing and it's less brushes that you need to have. And what I will do is kind of pat motions when I layer things on top of my CC cream, because I want to build coverage. I don't want to swipe too hard and remove everything that I've just tried to build. So I'm going to go really gently. I also, you might notice, am one for wiping things on the back of my hand. And that is just because I don't want any streaks from a brush. And I find that if you pat it into the back of your hand, you've kind of worked the product into the brush. in a way that by the time it goes onto your face, it's a bit smoother. And it's all in your hair by the look of things today. The last time I had my hair done was, I want to say it's at least 3 weeks ago now. And essentially I am trying to not use as much heat as I used to. And each time I get it done, and the longer it gets, I feel like it gets easier to use less heat. But I'm also finding the smallest tweaks to my routine can make a huge difference. So like, if you have watched my videos for a while, you'll know that for ages I've really gone on about K18 leave-in treatment and Olaplex, and how they've really helped my hair to get healthier and longer and that kind of thing. But I have found that applying them onto almost completely wet hair, as opposed to what I used to do was like put it in a quick dry towel for half an hour just to make it a bit more convenient and then put it on, it makes such a bigger difference to how frizzy it is. It's smoother basically, it dries nicer, I can get away with using even less heat. So like, I haven't done a thing to that, and I quite like it like that. I like it a bit, in my head, Kate Hudson. Probably more realistically, Kate Hudson fell through a bit of a bush, but great. Now, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about products, 6 minutes. My sister's coming in 20 minutes, so we're going to be okay. I've got time to show you. There is a brand I want to show you a few things from, and I'll use them in more and more videos. And I've shown you her before. This is Millie's brand, Human Beauty. And basically, Millie herself was born with a really rare condition, and so she is a real activist for people with disabilities and encouraging all of us to be more mindful of making every touch point in our lives accessible. Now, Millie loves bright makeup. She's like me, she loves her pops of colour and things like that. What she's done is made her own makeup brand that is absolutely there to be enjoyed by everyone, but she has particular emphasis on making sure that these things are more accessible for people with disabilities. So for example, she's got these heart-shaped blush sticks, which on the surface of it are just lovely cream blushes that anyone can use and enjoy. So I'm going to apply some now. But she was explaining to me that so many products, and when I tell you this, you'll go through your own makeup bag and go, oh yeah, so many products are just round in their form, in particular if it's kind of creamy sticks. So if that was to fall and someone was doing their makeup, that will roll right off a surface if it's round, or it'll fall on the floor, and that person might not be as able as someone else to just easily bend down and pick it up. So it's little things like making that product in more of a heart shape that look lovely, but also mean that that person who can't afford to drop anything is not having to scramble for something that has slid off the side of a table. And she's got really, really lovely makeup. She's got a beautiful eyeshadow palette as well that actually would work really nicely when we talk about smoky eyes with powders. So I'll make a little note to remember to do that. But like, lovely formulas. I'd really recommend having a look on her page as well, because she does lots of chatty get ready videos and just explains her different experiences as someone that has to navigate that. I have a family member with accessibility needs, and we wanted to go to the cinema last week, and there's a new cinema by me. And they were so helpful when I could finally get through, but they had nothing on their website about accessibility, so I didn't know if I was going to be able to take my family member. And then like, I was ringing and ringing to try and find out. It's things like that that, like, unless I suppose someone has rang and prompted, it wasn't automatically something they thought of to put on the website. And I was more mindful of it because I'd spoken to Millie the week before. It's just things that we can all do our bit to, I suppose, encourage. And like for me, I really hope that now that I've flagged, it would have been helpful to just have a few things of information on the website. I'm hoping that might change the next time I come to look at it. But I have to say, it was a shame that that information wasn't readily available, because then when I found out it was accessible and I got there, they went above and beyond to make sure that we were absolutely fine, and they were really, really helpful. So it would have been great to know, and like it's lovely to know that now. But anyway, there's me saying I'm not going to chat and I'm going to show you my makeup in real time. What I'm going to do today is start by lining my eyes. This is the Peaches liner in Sphinx. Ordinarily, I would do my liner a bit differently. If you don't have lenses, I'd just put your liner like that and rub it back and forth. That is the quickest and easiest way to do it. But I wear prescription contact lenses, so I have to be careful. It's fine, like it'll rub off, it's not the end of the world. But ideally I don't want to cover my lenses in makeup, especially when I'm getting ready in a rush, because it'll make my eyes water and just slow everything down. And another thing I would say, if you like defining your eyes and you don't want something super dark, a soft brown is a lovely way to do that. Especially something with like a bit of copper and warmth to it will help to bring out the colour of your eyes, and it's just really small, but it defines them that extra little bit. Now you can follow these tips with any creamy shadows that you've got, but I have a couple of shadows that are new in that I'm going to take this opportunity to try, and I can wear them for the night and see how they wear. So I'm going to start with this iconic London duo that has a creamy stick on top, and then it looks like a glitter topper. What I like to do when I'm using creams is take the cream just up to the natural crease of the eye. So you don't have to be neat, because we're going to blend this out. And what I like to do is make sure that that lid is saturated. And then from here, you can see how much you want to blend. You can use your brush or a finger. For absolute ease, I'm going to start with just my fingertip. And if you are blending creams, I would always say that a synthetic brush can be really good to do this with. The Peaches and Cream brushes are really affordable and they do a beautiful job. They would be like a recommendation of mine. Simple smoky, love that. And another thing I would say is do one eye at a time, because the reason for that is creams dry really quickly, and when you've got a good cream formula, the idea is that once it's dried, it's not going to move. So you don't want to do both of them, blend this one and then come over here to find that this one isn't going anywhere. You'll notice as well, I was going backwards on that eye. Depending on the shape of your eye and where your fine lines naturally sit and all of that, it can be that going in one direction or another helps you to get the most saturated wash of colour on your eyelids. And that's something that you will learn through trial and error of doing your own eyes. One of my favourite tips for you for any part of your makeup, if there's anything that you're experimenting with for the first time, or you're not sure how it's going to sit, or you know, just a bit of a wild card for you, do it before bed. Do it before you're going to wash your face, and then best case scenario, it looks great, you love it, you know what you're doing for your special occasion, and worst case scenario, you figured out that it's not for you, you wash it off, and then you're not there trying to correct something 10 minutes before you leave for like your best friend's wedding because you took a chance on the day and it didn't work. And another thing I would say on that topic is if you've got a really special occasion, I think it can be really tempting to be like, oh, I'm gonna get like a special thing for that, or I'm gonna try something completely different. I would personally say on the occasions that are most special to you, it can be really helpful to wear things in your comfort zone, because then you're not distracted, you feel confident, you know what you're in for, and it's not something that's taking up any headspace, which is why I'm going for my bronzy smudges for my smoky eye today, because I just need to be worrying about, has everyone got a drink? Have I cleaned everything? Is there a big cobweb I didn't notice and now everyone's going to think I don't clean my house? all these things is what I need to be focusing on. Right, I'm gonna now use, I was spinning that looking for the name, there's no name on it. I'm gonna use a little Lancome Idole liquid shadow. This looks kind of more golden in tone, and this is also very wet. So I actually think this is gonna blend out a bit more smoothly with a brush. I'm going to use a little fluffy brush here to soften this and see what happens. Just really gently. Essentially what we want to do is have a layer of smudginess here so that my more concentrated colour on the eyelid blends out into nothing. I don't know what's happened here, but what I might do is tidy that with a bit of concealer in a moment. However, I'm going to finish all my makeup before I worry about that, because it might be but that by the time I've got my mascara on, that will cover it. Because one of my favourite tips I ever got, I always think about it, is David Horn, one of the best makeup authorities and experts you will follow, and also just like an incredibly kind person. You ask anyone in the beauty industry their opinion of David Horn and no one will say a bad word about that man. We met when I worked at Mascara, which was my first job after my beauty internships. After I graduated, I had a maternity cover in the head office, and one of his tips that he taught his students a lot was finish then finesse. He said, like, if it's fashion week, say, you've got a million models to do, you can't be faffing about worrying about one tiny detail on someone's face. They've got a catwalk to go down. You need to get all their makeup on, make sure they're ready to go, and then if you've got time at the end, have your meltdown about whatever you're not liking. So I'm going to say exactly the same to you and me for whatever night out we're getting ready for, or as mine would be, night in my own house, which is very, very, very nice. I'll be honest, my phone, because I live in Birmingham, my phone is honestly full of, you'll have to let me know when you're in London, and it can be really, really overwhelming. And so the thought of having a nice social evening in my own house is the most exciting thing I can think of, and I have been looking forward to for the longest time. So 17 minutes, that means 18 minutes, my sister's going to be here in 2 minutes. She's always a bit late realistically, so I'm sure I've got 5 more minutes to have a little play with. And I have got sidetracked talking to you. I would have had this on a lot more quickly if I hadn't done. I'm going to throw a little eyebrow on. Something I would keep in mind is that when you're doing your makeup, your eyebrows are a really good way to like set the tone. So if you feel that you've gone too heavy in other areas, using a soft eyebrow softens the whole vibe. If you haven't got loads of time to do your makeup, using a sharp brow and a sharp lip makes you look like you've spent all morning on it, and maybe you've just smushed it on like I've done here. Sorry, I'm so nosy. I'm sure I've said before, but I sit in the front, so whenever anyone goes past, I'm always like, oh, who's this now then, what's going on? Right, mascara. I'm going back to Millie again, Human Beauty. The same kind of logic. Most mascaras are in round tubes and they will slide off your table, whereas Millie's is in a square tube, and it's a bit more, it's not as kind of high shine in unit, so it's less likely to feel slippy. And then the wand is really interesting on this. Looking at the neighbours again, I'm terrible. The wand is really interesting. You've got a longer part to sweep up with all the lashes, and then this kind of domed tip, which is really good for getting into like smaller areas. And I know that isn't super like even or whatever, but given I'm going for my little Kate Hudson through a hedge hair as well, I feel like it just suits the whole atmosphere, doesn't it? So putting some of this on. I've been wearing this all week and it hasn't moved, and I've been, you know, in environments where it's a long day or it's been quite hot this week, and I found it really good and really great lasting power. So it's something I would really, really recommend. Now I'm kind of looking down into my hand mirror for this. Little Miss Piggy, love it. And then I will look up into the mirror to do the bottom lashes so that I can really get the brush to the root of every single hair. And then I'm going to do a little lip. Now, I love lip liner, and one thing that I haven't quite found the balance of, and I'm always experimenting with, I don't like it looking too sharp, but I do like to overdraw my lips so it always looks that bit more angular. But I noticed that Katie Jane Hughes a lot will kind of blur the edges, so that's something I need to practice more with. But this is Rosebud from Peaches and Cream. I'm going to buff this all over, pretty much keeping the bottom lip true to size and absolutely not keeping the top lip true to size. Just going slightly over the natural little arch there. And I actually love this all over with a balm. It's very creamy, but it also lasts really well. See what I mean about how it's a bit sharper? But again, David Horn, Finish Then Finesse, I'm not worried about it. By the time I've had my cup of tea, which is next to me, that will have softened itself out. Now then, I'm using Lisa Eldridge's new kind of tinted lip balm. This is Meet Cute. I have worn this religiously for the last few weeks. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very pigmented, but I always have dry lips, and so I just find this really, really comfortable. I've loved it. I would ordinarily just put the lip liner on the lip line and not have it all over. It really depends on which liner you've used, because I know the Peaches ones are so creamy. I decided to put it all over. So I'm happy with this. I feel like actually, have I got my little half magic brush somewhere? Yes, I have. Now that this has dried a bit, I might just use like a nice chunky brush to make sure that I've married the line between the top of that crease and the rest of the smokiness. And I like that we're all just a bit, you know, see what happens there. And then I'm going to finish with, I put some of this on really quickly yesterday morning, beautiful. The Sculpted by Aimee Liquid Light Liquid Highlighter. She's just brought out blushes, bronzers, highlighters, all in this form. And it's a lovely large domed wand. You can just put a couple of drops and zhuzh everything. Yesterday morning, something came up at home, which basically meant that I had one of those mornings where I was getting 2 family members ready that have care needs. I had to be somewhere really early. I was going to an appointment that I only see this person like once a year. So I just wanted to be like semi-presentable. I was looking really tired. It was just like, oh God, everything came at once yesterday morning. And I put this on top of my normal makeup, and I just felt like, do you know what? It took away the tired kind of look. It just hit the light in the right way, gave a bit of a glow to everything. Now the only thing is, I've kind of gone over my smokiness there because the little pad of my ring finger was too large. So let me just retrace the brown and make sure that that goes over the highlighter rather than the other way around. and that is just, see how you can see it more on that side because the sun's over here. Just adds a nice little flush of glow. If you haven't slept, I find that highlighter is a brilliant way to add a bit of extra radiance to your everyday base, and it will just plump and perk everything up. But there we go, super quick and easy creamies. Feel free to use any of those tips with anything you've already got at home. And my goal is, so like, please feel free to leave a comment with anything that you want to see. My goal is that you're using up what you've already got, not looking and thinking, I need to buy a million different things. I'll write everything down for you so that if you did see something you liked, you know what it is. But I would be more excited to think that you were like, oh, I've got a stick like that and I know what to do with it now. But I'm going to get ready to have my neighbours over and for my sisters to get here. Have a lovely day, and I'll chat to you very soon.